Oh man, you guys. What if this is another weird Ultra Beast like we ran into at the fair?
Maybe I should know this, but what exactly is an Ultra Beast?
It's basically like if a Pokemon was from another universe, so it's all like funky and messed up and stuff.
There were a bunch of instances of Ultra wormholes opening up in the Alola region and letting Ultra Beasts through, but some people suspect that part of what makes the Hoenn region so bizarre is some connection to Ultra wormholes and Ultra Beasts.
That's what the professor is researching.
When he actually does research and isn't just giving tours of fake experiments.
But this ugly creature thing could be an Ultra Beast?
Who knows, dude?
But whatever it is, the tracks end up there. Ready?
You follow Cordelia's lead and jump into the wooded thicket. Inside, you do not find an Ultra Beast, but instead there is just an unfortunate-looking man.
Wow! What are you doing here?
Oh no! Dudes! It's so ugly! Avert your gaze!
What kind of hideous creature is that?
Oh, barf! It's just so...
Wait! I'm not a creature! I'm a person!
What? Oh, you're just a very unattractive man.
Whew, I was this close to attacking him.
Tobert, is that you? What are you doing out in the woods? Weren't you a reporter in town?
They wouldn't put me on TV and I got fired. My face was deemed a public health risk.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Makes complete sense to me.
And now I'm foraging for berries in the woods. This is what my life has become. But I finally had some luck come my way. I found something out here that has to be worth a lot of cashola.
He pulls out the device component that had crashed nearby, and you can see that it has a tree symbol on it.
Sorry, Tobert, but we're gonna have to take that from you.
No, I need this. You're just going to take this back to that fraud, Professor Pines. We all know he's up to no good.
Nobody talks about my Grunkle Will like that. All right, Tobert, we're just gonna have to kick your butt.
That's what you think will happen. But after spending all this time in the woods, I've become quite the grass-type specialist.
All right, dude. You want to see if you can go 3 for 3 on taking these pieces from people?
Moose pushes you forward, and Tobert leads with his first Pokemon. Okay, this isn't a super well-known cryptid, but we're taking a look at the Cactus Cat of America. This is a bobcat-looking little guy that has a branching cactus-like tail and is covered with spiky barbs. So, obviously a little grass type makes sense. To get more of a personality, we're combining that with the smushed-faced grumpy cats out there. We get a wonderfully round design, which definitely feels different enough from all of the other existing cat Pokemon out there. Oh, and another thing about the Cactus Cat cryptid, it uses its claws to slash open cactuses and then comes back later to drink the fermented juice, but we'll really run with that concept when we get to the evolution. Okay, let's meet Tobert's first Pokemon. This is Kittycact, the Blep Pokemon. This grumpy feline can't help but make a sour face at everyone it comes across. In order to get people to leave it alone, it causes its tail to dance around like a distraction. On rare occasion, once it has bonded with a trainer, Kittycact have been observed smiling and showing affection. The ability is Sap Sipper, to reference it drinking the fermented sap, so that boosts its attack stat whenever it's hit by a grass-type attack, and the hidden ability is Chlorophyll. It definitely looks pretty grumpy, but you're not sure if that's just how its face is, or if it's bummed that it has Tobert as its trainer. Anyway, Kittycact is a slow mixed attacker, but it isn't too tough to faint. Tobert sends out his next Pokemon. Alright, I'm gonna have some fun with this one, sure. This is a monopod, that one-legged beastie that would hold its foot up to create shade. Very silly. But we're also gonna go in a Bigfooty direction when it evolves. But this is mainly just an homage to Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls. Alex Hirsch is a super awesome guy, and you'll find a handful of cartoon versions of him in the background of the show itself. and I felt like we needed something like that. So, our little monopod gets Alex's cartoony goatee, wild poofy hair, and the eye bags of a perpetually working creator. That's coming from one artist who works too much to another. And the red plaid shirt that he wore nonstop during the creation of Gravity Falls is referenced by the bark pattern. It's pretty fun. I hope that Alex would approve. If anyone out there knows Alex Hirsch, please send this his way. We'll see what he says. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Tobert's second Pokemon. This is Hirschhop, the foot Pokemon. Sightings of this elusive fighting type are quite rare, but it has been spotted all across the Hoenn region. Locals suspect that there are only a handful of this Pokemon and that they wander the land trying to find one another. Always on the move, Hirschhop has a strong drive but occasionally pushes itself too far. Any trainer fortunate enough to catch one will find a surprisingly funny companion. The ability is something new, I'm calling Tough Toe, so that boosts all of the kicking moves. I mean, it is just a giant foot after all, and the hidden ability is Technician. It is a pretty neat little Pokemon, so hopefully you are lucky enough to run into one of these on your travels across the Hoenn region. Hirschhop has some pretty devastating kicks to contend with, but you do eventually manage to knock it out. 2 Pokemon down, 2 more to go. When I was thinking about grass-type cryptids, the Mandrake root was the first one to pop into my head. These are actual plants with medicinal, hallucinogenic, and anesthetic properties, but they often grow branching roots that kind of look very human sometimes. But they're present throughout folklore, magic and witchcraft, and even into modern portrayals of the plant. Like it puts you to sleep when it screams, or it straight up petrifies you. Fun stuff like that. So we're taking that and combining it with another singing inspiration. Not able to resist more Dungeons and Dragons, this is one of my favorite classes to play, the Bard. You gotta love being a bard. All the charm and schmarm and boosting up your buddies that anyone could ever want. These two concepts merged pretty darn well. So let's go ahead and meet Ludrolu, the bard root Pokemon. With only its head poking out of the ground, many people assume this to be a much smaller grass-type Pokemon. Ludrolu loves to sing and dance, plucking the roots on its chest to accompany itself with music. They prefer not to fight themselves and instead do all they can to help out their friends. Its ability is Friend Guard, so that reduces damage done to its allies, with the hidden abilities being Soundproof and Serene Grace. Ludrolu is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the Hoenn region, so it takes a while to chip away at it. But Ludrolu really shines in double battles. So luckily here, it's at a bit of a disadvantage and you weather its weaker attacks and take it down. Tobert looks very worried as he sends out his last Pokemon, the evolution to Little Canitrop. Oh yeah, we're going to be going very big with this design. So as a reminder, Canitrop was based on the various carnivorous plant cryptids. So this evolution is mainly the man-eating tree of Madagascar. But we're pulling in some imagery from an episode of Gravity Falls 2. The stuffed animal tree, present in Mabel's dream world, which momentarily transforms into a horrifying nightmare version, is one of those deliciously dark moments from Gravity Falls that will always have a spot in the back of my brain. I just love the dark stuff that the Gravity Falls team managed to slip into the show. It's just wonderful. So, smushing those two together into a tree that will trap you in sap and consume you if you get too close worked out well. Gives us a pretty formidable mono grass type, as I do want to make sure there are plenty of powerful mono types in the region. Okay, let's go ahead and say hello to Candivore, the sap Pokemon. What initially appears to be leaves on this tree Pokemon are actually countless globs of super sweet and sticky sap. The delicious smell lures prey in where they are certain to be trapped and consumed. While Candivore appears to have multiple eyes, those amongst its branches are actually decoys, as its true face is hidden below. The ability remains Super Sweet Syrup, that totally fits, and that lowers the opponent's evasiveness whenever they enter battle, and the hidden ability is still Sticky Hold. 2 bulky Pokemon in a row really takes it out of your team, but you manage to pull through and take down Tobert's last Pokemon. Cordelia walks over and takes the device component out of his hands.
Oh, I have nothing again.
You're on a roll. Color me impressed.
Let's get this back to Grunkle Will.
You two go ahead and take it. Me and our champion are gonna celebrate another victory at the arcade. That cool with you, dude?
You nod to Moose, and everyone heads out. As you're leaving, you can hear Tobert mumbling to himself as he kicks at some moss.
Okay, we're almost there, so you had best prepare yourself for the splendor and majesty of the Twin Pines Arcade. Just another block, and you get to enjoy all of the coolest... Wait, what's that? Oh, no way, dude. That egg you won at the fair is finally hatching. Mystery Pokemon egg! Oh man, I'm getting flashbacks to my Gachapon days.
Okay, what hatches is based on something that you could probably argue against being an actual cryptid. Air rods, flying rods, or skyfish are these strange wiggly creatures that sometimes show up in photos. Some people believe that they are alien life forms, adapted for flight and so fast that they can only be captured on camera. This is, of course, ridiculous. They are, in fact, just insects captured on film with a long exposure, so the motion blur stretches out their bodies and the wing pattern gets swooped into these ridges. But that's not going to stop us from doing something weird and otherworldly with it. There are plenty of Pokemon in the Hoenn region that are basically Ultra Beasts anyway, and it is fun to do designs that are just a bit more out there, like these 3 eyes. It's pretty fun. A little unsettling maybe, but still cute. Okay, let's go ahead and meet the creature that has hatched from your egg. This is Atmosleek, the high-flying Pokemon. This perplexing specimen is normally found at extremely high altitudes. Atmosleek will come down to the ground, but this is a very rare sight. Their bodies are as light as air and move as if swimming. Researchers are uncertain about this Pokemon's origin. While it may have originated from space, others think that it may be an Ultra Beast that has adapted to life in our universe. The ability is Unburden, so that raises the speed stat if a held item is used, so it's already as light as air, it drops something, is going to get faster. Makes sense. And the hidden ability is Hydration. Atmosleek flutters about and nuzzles you a bit for pats on its weird little head.
Great pull! Super weird and super rare. And oh, before we go to the arcade, we can stop at the daycare center next door. Hey, Mr. Mayor.
Moose, I told you. You can call me Terry, especially when I'm at my side job.
No can do, dude. You're Mr. Mayor, even when you are mad fluxing at your side hustle. Anyway, my main compadre here just hatched a new Pokemon. You mind if we leave it with you while we hit up the arcade?
Of course. You two are always welcome to leave Pokemon with me. All the playtime may make them stronger, and the weirdest thing happens sometimes. Every once in a while, a Pokemon egg will show up here. I'm still trying to figure out where they come from.
One of life's great mysteries.
You and Moose pop next door into the loud and flashing arcade. He pulls you this way and that to show you all of his favorite games. He is in his element and pumped to share it with a buddy. But as you wind your way around to the back of the arcade, you stumble upon some familiar-looking baddies disassembling a machine.
You sure the piece the boss wants can be harvested from one of these machines? That's what they said. Well, I'm still not finding it. And, oh no, look who it is.
You again? What are you doing bugging us again? You'll scram if you know what's good for you.
Yeah, I think you're definitely playing that game wrong. You don't need to try and get inside the game. I've been there. It doesn't end well.
And you brought the clueless research assistant? He'll be no help. He's as dumb and ugly as he is useless.
Ouch, dude. I'm like standing right here.
Alright, that's it. Leave or we'll make you.
Hey, Hambone. You want to totally wipe the floor with these noobs?
With Moose at your side, you jump into your first double battle. The two grunts send out a Cubesque and Resnick to start, but you're able to make quick work of them. After that, they each send out a new Pokemon. Continuing the trend of Pokemon that are definitely more Ultra Beast, we're going to do something a little odd. I knew that I wanted something that referenced Giffany and Brumble McSkirmish, and we'll get there, but this is going to be our digital-looking pre-evolution. Specifically, I wanted this to feel like it was a small piece of Missing No that chipped off. This is definitely a line that I kind of want some people to look at and say, well, that's just not a Pokemon, which sounds like a strange goal to have, but I just want a bit more variety and to get a little experimental with some of these designs. The drawing process took a little bit longer than normal because doing all that pixel art in my normal style is just a bit demanding, but I eventually got there. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Missinbit, the glitch Pokemon. This electric type appears to be made entirely of code. Researchers suspect that it is another Ultra Beast that has adapted to our world by spending much of its time hiding within electronics. Outlandish theories claim that Missinbit is related to a theorized Ultra Beast called Missing No. More research is needed to confirm these rumors. Its ability is Trace, so that lets it copy the foe's ability, and its hidden ability is Download. Missinbit pops out and doesn't look too formidable, but the other Grunts Pokemon is much larger. I just had to get a haunted animatronic in here. Some people think that the Gravity Falls episode is a reference to Five Nights at Freddy's, but the Gravity Falls episode, Seuss and the Real Girl, was actually first, but that's not going to stop me from getting Freddy in here anyway. I knew that this was going to be a single stage design, so I could afford to have it be a bit more complex, and of course it's always great to get to do an asymmetrical design. The arm position in particular is a nod to those dumb little claw games in arcades. And I gotta say, I love that I was able to get a top hat made out of a bolt, nuts, and washer instead of just a literal hat. Okay, let's go ahead and learn all about Phasbogor, the animatronic Pokemon. Urban legends tell that enraged spirits latch onto old discarded animatronics to create a Phasbogor. They are an unpredictable Pokemon to work with. Sometimes Phasbogor love children and sing and dance for them, but more often than not, they enjoy absolutely terrifying kids. They wander the city at night, but few trainers choose to catch them. The ability is a new one that I made again, Terrorize, that lowers the special attack stat of all opponents whenever it switches into battle, and the hidden ability is Intimidate. These two Pokemon don't have much double battle synergy. This is your first double battle after all, but Missinbit and Phasbogor are still pretty tough, but you do manage to take them out.
Ugh, not again! I say we use the MUW and trash this place, just to teach you not to mess with the Cypher Squad again.
I couldn't agree more. You asked for this.
One of the Cypher Squad grunts reveals a small circular device and powers it on. It whirls with intense energy before tearing a tiny dimensional rift in the air above it. The two grunts laugh maniacally as something pulls the rift wider from the other side and squeezes out. The Cypher Squad grunts flee now that they have successfully summoned a new unstable Ultra Beast. Ah yeah, your second Ultra Beast boss is going to fit right in at the arcade. Going more towards urban legends here, we'll be working with the Polybius game cabinet. This was an arcade machine that people claimed showed up in a handful of arcades in Portland, Oregon in the early 80s. Men in Black would drop off the machine and pick it up a few days later. In that time, kids who played it would experience headaches, nightmares, seizures, memory loss. It was supposed to be like a top secret experiment by the government. So, fun inspiration. And also, though subtle, I liked how the front panel of the arcade machine kind of reads like an old VHS tape. So we're sprinkling in a bit of that cursed VHS tape lore as well, because why not? Getting the colors figured out took me a bit, since I wanted the weird, unnatural Ultra Beast feeling colors, but it was also important to get something close to the shade of green used in the Polybius logo. But yeah, I got there. Okay, let's meet your newest boss beast. This is Vigilta, the Distortion Pokemon. UB Screen is able to negatively affect others who merely gaze at its strange, distorted expression. People have reported severe headaches, nausea, and even memory loss around this otherworldly electric type. While it emotes on its screen, Vigilta's power seems to emanate from the cartridge suspended below. The ability is Electric Surge, so that will set up electric terrain whenever it enters, and the hidden ability is, of course, Beast Boost. The tiny portal it entered through shrinks and blips out of existence. It sets up electric terrain right away, boosting electric moves, and begins tearing through Moose and your teams. It is a tough battle, but you are somehow able to pull through and feint the otherworldly menace.
We've got a knack for stopping those jerks, but oh man, look at all this destruction.
As you survey the busted up arcade machines around you, the Rotom Shift in your pocket whirs to life. Rotom Shift, analyzing data, bleep blorp blue. New destructive function added, hammer time. Pulling the device out, you find that it is now able to turn into an oversized arcade-looking hammer.
Whoa, sweet. I bet you could break through barriers that have previously been blocking your path, Metroidvania style. But seriously though, we should tell Professor Pines that these Cypher Squad guys are causing some major trouble.
With that, you and Moose leave the partially destroyed arcade, pick up your Pokemon from the daycare, who is a little bit stronger now, and hop on your bike. Sure enough, there are small areas and secrets that you can now access by breaking through boulders, fallen trees, and other roadblocks. You eventually make it all the way back to the research shack.
So then those jerks were like, oh no, these two are too powerful for us. We must use our secret weapon. And then they pulled out this thing, I think it was called MUW or something. And then it totally ripped open a little Ultra wormhole, like, and then Ultra Beast came out and we were like, oh no! And then the Ultra Beast was like, I have you now. And then we beat it.
Whoa, Moose. Did this actually happen, or did you just accidentally destroy half of the arcade again?
Again?
No, Professor Pines. That's 100% what happened. You can ask my compadre here.
All right. So, something got into the arcade and you two were very heroic and very lucky to stop it, but there's no way it was an Ultra Beast from an itty-bitty pocket wormhole. That's not a thing. Trust me, I would know, as the Pokemon professor and all.
But, Professor...
And secondly, I thought I told you to steer clear of the Cypher Squad. I'm supposed to keep you kids safe, remember? Can't have you running around picking fights with street gangs. But, as mad as I am about this is slightly offset by the fact that these two yahoos brought back another piece of my broken device.
Heck yeah, 3 down, kaboosh!
So, we're gonna go celebrate by hitting the Twin Falls pool. But since I am not 100% convinced that Moose didn't destroy the arcade again...
I didn't think the machines could domino like that.
You've gotta stay here and keep an eye on the research shack. The rest of you goofs, let's go have some fun in the sun. You all make the trek over to the Twin Falls pool, which is pretty popular on this hot summer day. Right off the bat, before you can even get in the water, you stumble across something glittering by the edge of the pool. This is the Slick Scale item. If you happen to still have an unevolved Ittle, it pops up and is transfixed by the scale. Okay, we're finally ready for our final Ittle evolution. This is going to be based on something a little odd, but it fits in with the cryptid world. There are times when bizarre carcasses wash up on beaches or are dredged up by boats. Partially decomposed, these are misidentified as fantastical creatures and cryptids. Of course, they are normally whales and whatnot, but it's a fun jumping off point. So we're taking that general idea and mixing it with another less appealing specimen, the blobfish. Gotta love the blobfish. They aren't nearly as pathetic looking when they're actually in the water, but still, it's just so much fun. And with this being Gravity Falls and all, even though they aren't related, this gives me major, like, Toby Determined vibes, just the face. Okay, let's meet the last Idle evolution. This is Menino, the ugly fish Pokemon. Idle that have been exposed to the slick scale item fail to mimic its slick appearance. Bulbous and awkward, Menino look more like a washed up carcass. These unfortunate fish swim about and constantly sigh about how they turned out. They have few predators, as their looks are enough to keep most Pokemon away. A caring trainer can lift their spirits, but few give Menino the chance. Its ability is Cursed Body, just with its appearance, and that may disable a move that is used on it, with the hidden ability being Water Absorb. Would you evolve your Idle into this beauty? Or are one of the other 3 options more your style? And don't worry, even though Idle only has 4 possible evolutions, that doesn't mean that we're done with this line. But you'll have to get your Idle evolution up to level 24 before we get there. It's gonna be pretty fun. I don't want to give anything away, but it's fun. Playing around the pool, you and Maple even get a nice little battle in, letting you test your strength against her tiny little Squirrel. In fact, this nice little battle turns out to be the last thing your starters need to evolve. Okay, first up, a lot of you correctly guessed that little Shrubun would be turning into a Jackalope. Now, all of our starters will be gaining a secondary type here, and our bunny gets to be electric. This seems a little silly at first, but it is said that jackalopes can only breed during lightning storms, so we're gonna run with that. I also loved the idea of the static electricity causing its fur to stand up, so this is actually based on a bunny that I had for a very long time. He was the best good little buddy, and his fuzzy butt is totally this Pokemon's fuzzy butt. We're maintaining the nerdy glasses and the inquisitive look, so that can continue through the line, but it's a little shocked by its new electric development. Okay, let's meet the best little bunny. This is Zabbit, the bunny Pokemon. Hopping about causes this grass type to generate static electricity, causing Zabbit's fur to always stand on end. They are very inquisitive and love to experiment with their new electric capabilities. Zabbit's new horns seem to draw electromagnetism from the atmosphere, so during a thunderstorm, their bodies poof up into a sphere of charged fur. Its ability remains Overgrow, so that boosts grass-type moves when its HP drops below a third, and the hidden ability is still Cute Charm. With fuzzy, soft fur, this speedy little friend is always ready to nuzzle up to ya. But let's see what fiery option is up next. Another great guess by many of you, Little Flambilly is turning into the Jersey Devil. Hats off to you who picked up on the little tufts of fur on its back being rudimentary wings. I wanted this line to continue being the silly goofball, so I wouldn't have it just fly around normally. Instead, its main propulsion comes from its tail. The wings just are supplemental to that. And of course, our little goat is getting the flying type because of all of this flying. Now, I'm not really concerned with creating a perfect type triangle between the starters' secondary types, though we'll do something fun related to that down the road. I won't get into it now. The last little detail for this design are the hooves that I wanted to look like they were super heated and glowing. Fun effect to do. Okay, let's meet the flying daredevil. This is Blaheat, the fire goat Pokemon. With a tail generating sporadic bursts of thrust, this unassuming goat manages to flail through the sky. Blahit's wings are mainly used to orient itself while flying, but unfortunately it prefers to fly in a haphazard and often destructive manner. Its superheated hooves often leave scorch marks as Blahit bounces off of its surroundings. The ability is still Blaze, boosting fire-type moves, and the hidden ability is Unaware. You're always at risk of having this happy goat fly into you, but its jolly demeanor is just so infectious that you have to forgive its erratic flying. Next up, time to jump into the pool. I think we are all on the same page that Koibra would be headed in the general sea monster cryptid direction. I even had some people correctly guess its secondary typing. Being so shy and standoffish, this was a fun personality to develop into the ghost type. So, the big visual that I'm going for here are the sea serpent humps rising out of the water. So, by giving our ghost type a plane of spectral energy that kind of acts like waves of water, we get a covering that hides our snake and feels thematic. It's a pretty fun addition and will be imperative when we get to our final stage. But let's go ahead and meet our mysterious second stage. This is Hismisty, the shy snake Pokemon. This timid serpent's reticent nature has manifested into an undulating shawl of spiritual energy. When Hismisty is feeling particularly nervous, it produces an eerie fog that can blanket an entire lake. While it prefers to keep its head under the ghostly waves, Hismisty come out to aid its friends, using its shawl both offensively and defensively. Its ability is still Torrent, so boosting water-type moves sometimes, and the hidden ability is Swift Swim. If you picked Koibra, are you still happy having a moody snake on your team? And what do you think of all three? I am liking their distinct personalities, as these will really be informing the final stages. I think you're going to really enjoy how they fit into cryptid culture as a whole. Maple's little Squirrow sniffs at the new evolutions and does an excited lap around the pool. Unfortunately, during this display of excitement, Atlantica saunters over.
Well, Maple, is this your real twin? Because you two look identical.
If you mean adorable as heck, then thank you so much.
Well, if you piggies and the rest of your penniless family are going to contaminate the pool, then I am out of here. I don't know why I bothered coming. Our mansion's pool is 3 times this size.
Okay, well, enjoy swimming in your big expensive pool all by yourself.
Whatever. At least my pool is a part of a giant mansion. You losers are staying with a fake Pokemon professor in a rundown gift shop. So you have fun spending the rest of the summer with a criminal. Bye!
Atlantica goes to storm out, but is nearly knocked off her feet when a panicked Mayor Terry barges in.
Excuse me, has anyone seen Lazy Susie? She was supposed to pick up her Pokemon from my daycare a couple of hours ago, but she never showed. I've checked all over town and I don't know where she is.
Lazy Susie? That unfortunate who walks in circles?
That's the one.
Yeah, right before I got here, I'm pretty sure I saw her walking into that psychic kid's tent with some horribly dressed people.
Horribly dressed how?
I mean, nothing as bad as the sweater that you normally wear. They're just in hoods, which are so out right now.
Professor Pines?
All right. If these are the same punks, I suppose we should check it out. I was hoping I wouldn't have to get involved with this, but don't worry, Terry. We'll go check out what's going on and find Lazy Susie. Twins, you two are coming with me. Cordy, I need you to go and get those things. You know, those things from the lab that I was going to give the twins. Go get those just in case things go south.
You got it.
What things?
Just something I hope we don't have to use. You kids ready to face pure evil? You both nod. Come on, you two, let's ready ourselves. Professor Pines stops into a Poke Center next door to the Psychic's tent and has you all heal up your Pokemon.
Oh, are you guys checking out Glee's show? Isn't Glee just the best?
The professor grumbles to himself and grumpily leads you towards the tent next door.
I know it may be hard to believe that anyone could dislike me in any way, but you're about to meet my nemesis.
Whoa, that's intense. Who is it? A rival professor?
Nope.
An ex-professor? Oh, an ex-cellmate? Oh, an ex-wife? Drama!
I'll take any of those over this. This is competition.
You follow the professor through the flaps of a massive tent. Inside, seats are filled, and beyond them is a stage. You wiggle into some seats and watch as a short child waddles out and is hit by a spotlight.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Glee, and it just makes my day to see so many beautiful faces.
Oh, this kid makes me sick.
Well, if this is your first time here, let me tell you a little about myself.
Oh no, they're gonna sing.
When I was just a teeny tiny little me, I found that I have innate psychic abilities. Now I'm the only one who's able to see into the metaphysical realities. I have a gift, I hear it, and I use it to lift your spirits. Yeah, yeah,
Boo!
yeah.
Boo! You stink! Boo!
Well, if it isn't Professor Pines from that sad and rundown research shack down the road.
At least we do real research there. This is all a bunch of mumbo-jumbo, Glee.
I think someone's just a little bit jealous that all your lovely people are here instead of taking the sad little tours over at his tourist trap of a lab.
Hey, I run a legitimate research shack, but that won't stop us from kicking your butt.
Yeah!
Ooh, hoo, hoo. Well, I'm just as terrified as can be. But even my understanding audience doesn't want to watch me destroy a sad old man. But hey, what about one of your little assistants there? One of them want to come up and prove their might in a Pokemon battle?
They're still new here, Glee. That wouldn't be fair.
How about I sweeten the pot? I may have found something that you lost.
Glee pulls a device component from behind their back.
I meant to say that they're new here, but they are ready to kick your butt so hard you'll fly out of those tiny, stupid boots. Get up there, kid, and make me proud.
The professor lifts you out of your chair and practically throws you down the aisle towards the stage. You hop up on stage and start to introduce yourself, but Glee stops you.
Oh, don't you worry your little head. I already know exactly who you and your cute sister are. And I wish it didn't have to go this way, but just to set an example, my psychic-type Pokemon are going to have to crush you into a fine dust.
Glee doesn't give you much warning and tosses out their first Pokemon. Certainly more monster than cryptid, but we just have to get a zombie in here, and we're going to tie it to Gravity Falls just a bit more by pulling in some inspiration from the Percepshroom, that mushroom that gave Waddles like super intelligence. And also fun, but there is a real-life mushroom that looks like a little brain. Very cute. I mean, cute really isn't the goal here. We're going for a design that lives in the Pokemon world, but is really about as gross as you can go. I mean, its brains are kind of just like falling out of its head. I don't like to reuse designs, but I did definitely pull some elements from a Last of Us zombie design that I had done in the past. It just works so well here. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Mushimind, the brain fungus Pokemon. The strange fungal growth on this poison type's head has granted it psychic abilities. Mushimind's mastery of psychic attacks is surprising as it otherwise appears to be just a mindless husk. Their fungus requires a great deal of energy, and so they are always looking for food. Mushimind will eat anything, and trainers have even received a few nibbles. Its ability is Poison Touch, and that may poison the target whenever it makes contact. And a hidden ability, because, it's a dumb zombie, is unaware. It's a pretty nasty little zombie, but not particularly strong as you knock it out. After that, Glee throws out another Mushy Mind. Interesting, multiple of them. Maybe that's a little clue as to how these Pokemon evolve. Anyway, you take it out and Glee sends out their next Pokemon. Now, we ran into Sprutama a while back, but now we get to meet its evolution. Again, we're looking at the various forest spirits, but taking some Australian inspiration for this stage. The Mimi are aboriginal spirits with long, thin limbs, kind of like stick people. And then also we're bringing in the idea of a walkabout, going on a long journey to showcase your resilience and maturity. So put those together and you get a literal walking stick person on a walkabout. It's a walking stick. Okay. I know that's pretty rough. I apologize. It's very dumb, but I do love how this line is turning out. Okay. Let's go ahead and meet the only non-psychic Pokemon on Glee's team. This is Stuckabout, the walking stick Pokemon. This well-traveled grass type can be seen wandering all across the Hoax region. They watch over the wilds wherever they go and will attack anyone disrespecting nature. It is rumored that following a Stuckabout on their long journey will leave one with newfound peace and enlightenment. Its ability is Chlorophyll, so that'll double its speed in sunny weather, and the hidden ability is Harvest. With some decent stats and access to plenty of strong psychic, grass, and fighting moves, it's pretty tough, but you do pull through. Glee tosses out their final Pokemon, the bizarre Foline. Glee seems pretty worried, but after wiping the sweat from their brow, they smirk and pull out an odd-looking necklace.
Is that what I think it is?
What is it? What do they have?
Glee, what do you think you're doing? The kid is new to the region. You can't use that.
Go away, people. You are in for a real treat. Who would like to see the real potential of my psychic bond with my Pokemon?
Glee grips the necklace tightly, which begins to glow brightly through their clenched fist. A glitching aura emanates from the necklace and engulfs both Pokemon and trainer. This is the new battle gimmick for the Hoax region. Once per battle, trainers can utilize a special crystal to perform the Beast Merge phenomenon and combine with their Pokemon. Now, we've actually seen this happen once in Pokemon Sun and Moon when Lusamine combined with Nihilego, and then Pokemon just never touched that idea again. But we are going to be continuing it here. With all, the Ultra Beasts and the wormholes going on and whatnot. In this form, the base stat total shoots up to at least 600, they gain a new ability, and their typing changes. But we're also afflicting it with Ultra Wormhole Decay, which causes the Pokemon to lose an eighth of its HP every turn. Now, this is not really a fusion, but instead the Pokemon is being distorted by Ultra Wormhole energy and bonding to their trainer. It could be a covering or armor, kind of like this design, or it could also be a weapon, or a vehicle, or really anything. The Beast Merge phenomenon is supposed to get, really weird. For Glee and Foline, we're combining them into another Dungeons and Dragons baddie, the Mind Flayer. We'll go over the prompts at the end of the video, but I am going to need some help coming up with new forms, so stick around for that. I can't wait to hear your ideas. It's gonna be fun. Okay, let's meet Beast Merge Foline, the Mind Flayer, which is now a pure dark type. Trainers who have bonded with the otherworldly Foline are overwhelmed by its writhing tentacles during the Beast Merge phenomenon. Dark thoughts overtake the trainer, and they can't help but lash out at their surroundings. Even days after unfusing, Both Foline and their trainer are plagued by vivid nightmares of unknowable interdimensional horrors. Its ability is something new, Corrupted Mind, that takes all of these psychic-type attacks and turns them into dark-type attacks and boosts their power by 20%. The battle is tough. The stats and the ability are pretty overwhelming, but when you are able to knock out this strange fusion, it separates into a fainted Pokemon and an exhausted Glee. The device component that they had wagered slides across the floor to your feet. You pick it up and see that it has a star symbol on it.
You got so lucky. Somebody come up and help me. Now!
Looking over, you see a couple people in hoods rush on stage and scoop up the tiny Glee. Maple stands up in the audience and points.
It's those people again, the ones that took Lazy Susie.
After them!
The hooded figures bail on helping Glee and book it for an exit. Being so close, you are able to keep up. You can hear Professor Pines and Maple shouting as they try to get through the crowd, but you decide that you need to go alone if you don't want to lose sight of the culprits. You get outside and see them running off into a nearby swamp, and you sprint after them. You hop on your Rotom Shift bike and head in the direction that you saw the Cypher Squad grunts flee. But after a few minutes, you have to admit that you have lost them. You check your map, and you are in the dead center of the swamp. You stand still and try to listen for movement, but all you see are some familiar Pokemon. Mushy Mind, Kettytuff, and even the rare Phasbagor are seen here, along with a couple of new species. You know what this region really needs? A cute little bat. This line will actually be based on the Manananggal from the Philippines. That's just a very hard name to say. But we're starting out with something that has more general vampire vibes. So we get wings that feel like a fun cape, droopy ears that look like emo hair, and some big old lashes, since this line will lean a bit more feminine. What with the Manananggal's inspiration. I want this little bugger to start out pretty friendly. In fact, it will be just a mono flying type. It could easily be a dark type too, and we will get there, but the lore for this line has it resisting that for now. Okay, let's say hello to Bitty Bat, the happy bat Pokemon. While some find this flying type's appearance to be a bit scary, little Bitty Bats strive to be happy and helpful and not give into how they are perceived. They find it especially easy to maintain their chipper demeanor with a supportive trainer cheering them on. They love eating fruits and berries, but in moments of weakness have been documented biting other Pokemon and even people. The ability is Strong Jaw, and that increases the power of biting moves, with a hidden ability being Infiltrator. A number of them sit up in the swamp trees and wave happily at you as you pass. Being so friendly, they would certainly be a willing catch if you wanted one. Something larger squirms under the tree though. Okay, we're gonna start out pretty vague with the start of this 2-stage bug line. We'll be dealing with a fly with the second stage, which I can't believe we don't have just like a normal fly Pokemon yet. But before we get there, we have a larva pupa design. The front half is the worm-like larva, complete with the goofy little face, and the back half is the protective pupa casing, complete with some spines, that some pupa can have. Honestly, there is not a whole lot to write home about with this design. It needs to be a big bug, but I really do love the dumb expression. Yeah, I don't know, it makes me happy. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Pupa Dupa, the big bug Pokemon. This larva only ever has one thing on its mind: eating. A Pupa Dupa is somehow able to eat 2 times its body weight in vegetation in a single day. Residents of the Hoenn region have to protect their gardens from these enormous pests, but a well-trained Pupadupa can be trained as an effective lawnmower. The more they eat, the harder their back shell becomes, and the closer they get to evolving. The ability is Thick Fat, so that reduces damage from fire and ice type moves, with the hidden ability being Gluttony. It inches across the swampy ground, practically inhaling the tall grasses growing everywhere. It seems completely oblivious to your presence as it mindlessly eats and eats. As you document the new Pokemon, you hear footsteps behind you. Did those Cypher Squad grunts circle around to take you by surprise? You turn to see two people emerging from the swamp haze.
Ooh-wee! I found him all right. There's the culprit.
Nice work, Deputy. Now you have the right to remain guilty of kidnapping Lazy Susie.
Oh, we got you. We got you.
Oh, no. Wait. My mistake. This is just one of the Pines twins. And to think, we almost locked you away.
Ah, shucks.
I'm Sheriff Dubs, and this is my wonderful deputy, Blurlin.
That's me! I'm Blurlin!
Yes, you are. And don't ever change. Anyway, some of the townspeople are in a fuss, saying that a couple hooded figures kidnapped Lazy Susie and fled into these swamps. You haven't seen anything, have you?
You explain that you were hot on their trail, but you've lost them now.
Well, shoot. What are we gonna do?
I don't know. I was hoping we would solve this case before that fancy officer from Interpol does.
This is our turf. We should be solving this case. But we're probably gonna fail again.
Any case that I'm on with you is a success.
Yeah, where do we look for clues next?
Maybe we check back at Susie's diner?
Ooh-wee! That's where they have donuts and pie! We may have to confiscate that as evidence.
We might just. All right, kid. You stay safe out here. We have important police business to attend to.
The two officers skip back the way they came. Something tells you that these two won't be solving the case anytime soon. Alone again, you continue west. You eventually can't ride your bike as the muddy terrain is slowing you down too much. You hear more Pokemon around you and spot another couple new species. Alright, this design turned into a wonderful Froopy coincidence. So this is based on the Groot slang of South Africa. The exact descriptions are a little tough to nail down, but we are essentially dealing with a cave-dwelling beastie that is the origin to both snakes and elephants, so we need a funky combination of the two. It was during the sketching process that I landed on a very familiar body plan and realized that this thing could be related to one of my favorite designs from the prehistoric Palean region, Mimiton. False eyes, so it feels like an elephant. The real face is at the end of the trunk. Yeah, it's just perfect. And I love getting to nod to a previous region of mine. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Snooton, the snake trunk Pokemon. This single-stage ground type seems to be related somehow to the extinct Mimiton that was recently revived in the Palean region. Snooton appear to be similar to Donphan and Caparaja, but their head is actually located at the end of their trunk-like neck. Though large, they enjoy living underground and digging with their tusks. The ability is Sand Force, so that raises the power of ground, rock, and steel-type moves during a sandstorm, and the hidden ability is Sand Rush. It stomps about and eyes you with suspicion as you pass, but your attention is drawn to something trying to swim in a puddle nearby. Time to travel down under for our take on the Bunyip. Present in Aboriginal stories across Australia, the Bunyip is a terrifying creature with varying descriptions. It always lives in or near the water, and is an ambush predator, but sometimes it's like a seal, sometimes it's like the Loch Ness Monster, or it's more crocodilian, or just completely beyond description. In fact, the first stage's main inspiration is a 1935 drawing of the Bunyip poking fun at all of the various descriptions. I saw that sketch and I was like, yep, that's our first stage for sure. We'll let it get nice and intimidating when it evolves, but for now it starts out as a certified goober. Buck tooth, flappy arms, awkward stance. I mean, what's not to love? Let's go ahead and meet Dweebip, the awkward Pokemon. This strange water type is always out of place. It is incredibly clumsy on land, with its noodle arms knocking things over or it just managing to trip over itself. Dweebip is not much better in the water, where it doesn't so much swim as flail about in the water until it gets where it's going. It longs to be helpful, but even the simplest task usually leads to more trouble. Its ability is Klutz, so that keeps it from using held items, with the hidden ability being Unaware. Oh, poor Dweebip. It flops up onto the shore and waddles over to greet you. It waves its long floppy arms at you and manages to smack itself in the face. It's ready to catch if you wanted a Dweebip. In fact, with Dweebip, let's take a look at how our Pokedex is coming along. It is not too shabby at all. And we can see that we now have a section at the bottom for our Beast Merge forms that we'll be running into along our adventure. You walk even further into the swamp and are almost ready to give up on the search when you hear footsteps coming from the haze in front of you. It's difficult to make out who it is, but it appears to be just one person. They walk confidently towards you.
Ah, the intrepid twin who ran out into danger in hopes of rescuing a missing person. Very admirable. Very dangerous, but very admirable. There are quite a few bizarre things going on in this region, and I intend to figure them out. I'm an officer with the International Police. You can call me Looker. So what's the situation?
This Looker person seems pretty trustworthy, and certainly more competent than the officers Blurland and Dubs, so you fill him in on your efforts.
Don't worry, I lost them too. I was on the heels of a hooded pair for a good while, but then they pulled out a device, and I swear they summoned a strange Pokémon out of thin air. I dodged its attacks, but they fled, and that Pokémon is still loose in this swamp with us. I think it best that you and I stick together until we get out of this.
You agree and begin searching the area together. To stay on guard, Looker releases 3 Pokémon to stand at your sides and stay on alert. Okay, we're going to start out with something kind of silly for Looker to have as a lookout, but it's a Pokémon that I have wanted us to have for forever, and that is a Naked Mole Rat. Ah, the humble Naked Mole Rat, one of nature's most unfortunate little creatures. And though it may seem like an odd starting point, this will be the first stage of a line based on the Remidriju. This is a legend from northern Spain, which is essentially like a weird weasel thing. So we'll be starting out our burrowing weasel as a burrowing naked mole rat. And I hate to say that this thing is just a cartoon version of an actual animal, but I mean the real naked mole rat is already so bizarre that it is kind of a Pokemon already. Okay, some blind eyes, big teeth, and a little worm of a tail, and we get this little cutie. Let's say hello to Tiphus, the blind Pokemon. These minuscule little moles rarely come to the surface, instead chewing tunnels with their specialized teeth. Though they appear to eat soil, their mouths actually stay closed behind their exterior teeth. Completely blind, they feel for vibrations with their little feet. Their numerous tunnels aerate soil and help vegetation grow across the Hoax region. The ability is Sand Spit, that creates a sandstorm when it is hit by an attack, with the hidden ability being Regenerator. Yeah, I mean, you feel like Tiphus isn't exactly the best lookout to have, so you suspect that it is just Looker's little buddy as it sits on his shoulder. And then there is something else cute floating above his head, surveying the area. Alrighty, we will have 2 pseudo-legendary lines for this region, one which is native to the Hoax region, and one that is a recent Ultra Beast arrival. This is the start of the Ultra Beast line. And it also gets to represent our 4D dice among all of our D&D dice designs. Now, It won't really reach its full potential until the final stage, but we are loosely basing this off of the Abao Aku. It's a fantastical creature from George Louis Borges' Book of Imaginary Beings. It's got some really fun lore that we'll dive into and flesh out as the line gets further on. But just know that it starts out translucent and formless and slowly gains physicality. So, perhaps hailing from the same plane as Necrozma, this little prism is really just an angular head and a little starburst of a body. Okay, let's meet our first pseudo-legendary. This is Trismoid, the Prism Pokemon. While its angular head appears to be made of glass or crystal, Trismoid's entire body is comprised of concentrated light, taking physical form. Researchers are certain that this Pokemon is an Ultra Beast that is relatively new to the Hoenn region. Playful and helpful, this cheery Prism puts on light shows to lift the mood of anyone feeling low. Its ability is Prism Armor, which is usually Necrozma's ability, that reduces damage taken from super effective attacks by 25%, so that's pretty good. And the hidden ability, again, it's a Prism, is Clear Body. Trismoid is definitely a great lookout, spinning its head around to keep an eye on everything about. Looker's last Pokemon certainly appears tough, the evolution to the grass-type Kitty-Cact, but it also doesn't seem like the best lookout to you. Oh yeah, we're jumping back to the Cactus Cat, and the evolution you get when you let it hold a hard stone item. So, with it originating from the American Southwest, we're pulling in some gun-slinging cowboy elements, complete with spurs, poncho, and even a tiny little cowboy hat flower thing on its head. The other reason this works and where we are getting this wonderful expression and the personality is, and I don't know if you remember, but the Cactus Cat scratches cactuses and then comes back later to drink the fermented juice. So we've got kind of a inebriated little cowboy here. I really do love this. It's just the right level of silly for me while still matching the inspiration. Okay, let's meet Kitty Cact's evolution. This is Borbcact, the Blep Pokemon. Rocky spikes now cover this feline's body, which it is able to throw at opponents when provoked. Borbcact loves to drink nectar, but is often so full that it has trouble focusing on the task at hand. While friendly, they can be tough to train as they are easily distracted and often get lost. The ability is Quick Draw, so that allows this Pokemon to move first occasionally, with its other abilities being Sap Sipper and Chlorophyll. Oh yeah, yep, this thing is definitely not really watching your surroundings very well, but it is ready to defend you if needed. Looker notices you examining his Pokemon.
Pretty amazing, right? When I ran into these Pokemon here in the Hoenn region, I just had to catch them. I've traveled all over the world, but I haven't seen anything like the anomalies present here. Exceedingly strange Pokemon. People fusing with their Pokemon, other people going missing, and now, what I can only describe as an Ultra Beast being summoned by a couple thugs.
Curious, you asked Looker to describe what he saw, and you covertly leaf through your journal to see if you can find any clues. A passage sounds similar to the Ultra Beast in question, and a note suggests that it is attracted to bright lights. Without revealing your source, you suggest this information as a way to draw the beast out.
I don't know if you're correct, but if there's a chance that we can stop this new Ultra Beast from making it to a populated area, I think we should give it a try.
You pull out your Kukurasai while Looker gets Trismoid's attention. The two Pokemon use the move Flash, emitting bright lights and illuminating the swamp haze all around you. And right on cue, you hear a galloping sound in the distance, and it isn't long before something bursts out and attacks you. Oh yeah, it's time for another Ultra Beast boss. And this will be our odd take on the Headless Horseman. Not really a cryptid, but again, I'm letting our Ultra Beasts in particular diverge into urban legends and spooky stories and stuff like that. The hardest thing with this design was landing on something that suggested the Headless Horseman without looking too much like a horse or a person. So by focusing just as much on the historical garb, now I know that the Headless Horseman has roots in European folklore, but we're going to specifically be referencing the American legend of Sleepy Hollow, the pumpkin, and the look of this coat. And I think it works. And even as a ghost type, I did want this Ultra Beast to come off as slightly less mean than the others. Alright, let's go ahead and meet Narrytail, the ghost story Pokemon. UB Headless has a gourd-like mass floating above it, but this doesn't appear to be its actual head. Narrytail will send the gourd flying around an area, spewing out thick fog. This Ultra Beast prefers to stay hidden, letting its prey's minds play tricks on them. While not overly malicious, it loves to playfully scare others, but being new to our dimension, it sometimes goes too far. Its ability is Magic Bounce, which, reflects status-changing moves, and the hidden ability for, again, all of these Ultra Beasts is Beast Boost. This Ultra Beast is a bit more powerful than the ones that you've faced so far. Looker calls for your help, and the two of you battle to take it down. There is no doubt that alone you would have been no match for this beast, but together you are eventually able to knock it out.
Oh my, nice work! I didn't expect you to be able to hold your own in a battle like that. I'm afraid we aren't any closer to rescuing this missing Lazy Susie person, but at least the region is a little bit safer without the beast stalking the swamp. With the trail having gone cold, I'll be heading east. Which way are you headed?
You're excited about the prospect of continuing to travel together when your phone rings. You accept the video call, and your sister greets you.
Hey, we've got a lead. Looks like stupid, dumb Atlantica found one of the device components. She won't stop bragging about it online.
Hashtag Professor Pine's lost garbage. Hashtag Finders Keepers. Hashtag Losers are losers.
I'm headed over to their mansion. Meet me there. I'll mark it on your map. Oh, and after what happened with Glee, Grunkle Will is giving us both some special stone things. I have yours with me.
Maple holds up a necklace, similar to the one you saw Glee use to merge with their Pokemon. Checking your map, it looks like Atlantica's mansion isn't too far from your current position. Looker wishes you well, and you trek through the last bit of swamp to your destination. You pass by a Poke Center on your way and heal up your Pokemon.
Thanks for stopping by, little dude. Be sure to come again.
And after crossing a bridge, you make it to the mansion's sprawling grounds.
There you are! Are you ready to teach Atlantica a lesson and get another piece of Grunkle Will's machine thingy? Oh, but first things first. He gave us each one of these. Here's yours.
Maple hands you a necklace. In the center is a small iridescent shard. Something about it feels absolutely otherworldly.
Grunkle Will explained it to me. Apparently, there are tiny bits from a whole other dimension. I guess they fell through an ultra wormhole or something. But if a trainer and a Pokemon are bonded and best buddies and everything, then this necklace does some weird magic-y, science-y stuff that Grunkle Will says nobody really understands, and you can merge with your Pokemon. Apparently, it takes a lot of practice to use, but Grunkle Will said he'll start training us when we get back.
Holding the necklace, you are certain you can feel some strange extra-dimensional energy flowing through it. You put it on and look forward to getting a full explanation from the professor.
But right now, let's go say hello to Atlantica.
You walk up an ornate path and stand between massive marble columns as you ring the doorbell. A stuffy butler opens the door and gestures for you to come inside. Apparently, you were expected.
Well, if it isn't the sad little Pines twins. I knew if I posted about this dumb device that you two would come running. You see, I am the great-great-granddaughter of this town's founder, and my family is very important. Your family, on the other hand, is a disgrace and needs to be put in its place.
Hey, our family is great. We're the coolest twins you'll ever meet, and our Grunkle Will is an accomplished Pokemon researcher.
Are you kidding me? That professor of yours doesn't actually do anything. He uses the front of a research building to draw in tourists, show them fake Pokemon, and take their money.
Don't talk about our Grunkle that way. He's the best.
And the sad thing is, he's still so poor he can barely keep that shack open. All he cares about is money, and he still can't get enough of it.
He cares about us.
You two? You two are even sadder. But enough is enough. Time to remove the riffraff. My rock-type Pokemon are as tough as diamonds and ready to crush you.
Atlantica throws out her first Pokemon. All right, she's going to start out with a big, burly Pokemon based on the Emela Ntuka, or Killer of Elephants from the jungles of the Congo. So, this big beastie is known for its huge horn on its head, and while some may think that it's like a misidentified rhino, people will assure you that it isn't as simple as that. Instead, the Emela Ntuka is reptilian in appearance and more likely a dinosaur that didn't die out. So we're playing with the idea of a living fossil here. It's all fun and skeletal looking while just being a solid rock type. This is a tough single stage design, so the biggest thing here was landing on the right level of detail. It can be helpful to look at other similar Pokemon. In this instance, I was thinking about the design of like Kangaskhan, to get a right feel for the complexity you're going for. I think we ended up with a slightly more dynamic rock type than most, which is fun. All right, let's meet Serioku, the living fossil Pokemon. This tough rock type was long thought to be extinct, and modern sightings complicated the issue as it was first assumed to be a reanimated skeleton. In fact, Serioku's body is covered with sturdy plates that appear like bones. This Pokemon also loves to play in swamps and rivers, which is unusual for rock types. Its ability is Rock Head, so that prevents recoil damage. I mean, it's all bony and whatnot. But the hidden ability is Water Absorb, which is pretty fun and silly for a rock type. It lands with a shockwave in the center of the foyer. You are nearly knocked off your feet, but Maple flies all the way into a wall. Worried about your sister's safety, you let loose your first Pokemon. Serioku has some serious stats to contend with, but you take it down, and Atlantica sends out a Cubesque, another mono rock type, and you know how to deal with this one. You're familiar with it. After that, Atlantica has another new Pokemon ready. Okay, let's go to the other side of the spectrum for rock types and do something a little cute and squishy. So this will be a 2-stage line based on the Samaritan sea snail with a bit of the French carcole sprinkled into. These giant cryptid snails were a fun find while I was doing research, and I specifically love that the Samaritan sea snail is actually gentle and sweet. I also drew in inspiration from the beautiful iridescent nature of abalone shells, a real-life massive mollusk. That's where I ended up getting these kind of out-of-the-blue colors for this little snail's partially covered shell. The shell's a little strange, but I'll explain it with the Dex entry. Okay, let's say hello to Perlipod, the fancy shell Pokemon. These snails gather up different sands to help build their multicolored shells. While they enjoy being colorful, they also fear predators, and then choose to cover up their beautiful shells with tough stone for camouflage. They love to travel and yearn for a trainer that will help them collect different sands from across the Hoenn region to help build their shell. The ability is Innards Out, which I think before this was a unique ability. So whenever they faint, they damage the opponent, and the hidden ability is Dazzling. It's certainly a strange little Pokemon, and you feel a little bad beating it up since it isn't particularly strong, though it does deal a little bit of damage when you faint it because of its ability. Atlantica is getting pretty annoyed that you are taking her team out, but she does seem quite confident with her ace. Ah, yes. This Pokemon and Atlantica are just made for one another. Hailing from New Guinea, the Roe is another one of those dinosaur-esque cryptids. This one, however, has a pretty bizarre appearance with Stegosaurus-like plates on its back and a weirdly long neck. Like someone just smashed a couple dino species together and said, yeah, that's an imposing beastie. Now, this long neck actually works really well for the design, as just like Atlantica, this Roe looks down on everything. And by making the plates into gems, it gets all the Atlantica glitz and glam that you could want. I'm actually really happy with how her partner Pokemon turned out. Let's meet Diagem, the Jewel Dragon Pokemon. This arrogant rock type sports razor-sharp diamonds running down its long neck and back. Diagem figuratively and literally look down on most other Pokemon, flaunting its gleaming gems as a symbol of status. They are able to bond closely with trainers who care for their own appearance and don't mind polishing Diagem's diamond plates. The ability is Icy Body. I know that's a little bit weird since it's not an ice type, but that means that it does regain HP in a snowstorm. And the hidden ability is Clear Body. Right off the bat, Diagem lets out a Sacred Gem attack that knocks out your second to last Pokemon. Atlantica begins to laugh and holds up a tennis bracelet with a familiar shard embedded in it. She clasps it tightly and Ultra Wormhole energy surrounds her and her Pokemon. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse, Atlantica is going to get all fancy about it. Partially inspired by the dresses that Pacifica gets to wear in the show, we just had to do an over-the-top ball gown, complete with a fashionable but deadly war fan. Now, as far as an unexpected typing, we're going to bring in the ice type because of all that bling. I mean, I know that sounds a little cheesy, but we're going to run with it. Plus, it's Atlantica. You know, she's as cold as ice already. Okay, let's check out Beast Merge Diagem, Diamond Bell. The diamonds growing along the dragon's back multiply and encapsulate the trainer, forming a protective dress. By twirling, this form is able to attack with multiple rows of diamond blades. Between the trainer's icy glare and hand fan, frosty attacks can be sent at their opponent. The dress is unfortunately heavy, and few trainers can maintain this form for long. The ability is something new we're calling Toughest Stuff, so that reduces damage taken from fighting and steel-type attacks by 50%. And that basically gets rid of the double weaknesses that an ice and rock type would have. Atlantica Shanae turns towards you while fluttering her fan over a devilish grin. You're in a tough spot. With no choice, you send out your last Pokemon. Kukurasai is tiny in comparison to the Beast Merge form. You are about to give up hope and retreat when you begin to feel the necklace that the professor gave you vibrate ever so slightly against your chest. Without even having to think, you grab the necklace and feel the Ultra Wormhole energy envelop you and your Pokemon. Time for Kukurasai to shine. And we're gonna go full Mega Man or Metroid arm cannon with this one. Your electric buddy lets you be a baddie-busting hero. I still want the cannon to look pretty goofy since it is Kukurasai after all, but with some added levels of cool coming from these electric lines plugging directly into your back. The headphone/ear protection is also neat and important as you'll be shooting sound waves out, and Kukurasai wants to protect your hearing after all. Always important. Kids wear hearing protection. Okay, let's learn all about Beast Merge Kukurasai. Burst Blaster. Kukurasai warps into a cannon that latches onto their trainer's arm and bursts concentrated sonic blasts. Cables draw power directly from the trainer's back, meaning that this form leaves them completely exhausted afterwards. The sound waves produced can smash solid stone and steel. The ability, again, is new. This is Concussive Blasts. That takes sound-based moves, so any sound-based moves, Bug Bust, Boom Burst, anything, and they now become fighting-type attacks that deal 15% more damage. In this new form, you are stronger and faster than you have ever been, though you can feel your energy being drained from you. You battle fiercely, and with your fighting-type advantage, emerge victorious. You and your Pokemon revert back to your normal states, and a restored Atlantica falls to the ground.
No! That was impossible! How did you fuse? You just got here!
Maple skips over and wrenches the device component away from Atlantica.
What can we say? The Pines family is full of surprises. Now, if you'll excuse me, my twin and I must away and return this to its rightful place.
You leave Atlantica muttering on the floor and start making your way back to the research shack.
Nice work, kids. And I don't know what makes me prouder. You returning this device piece so quickly, or you rubbing that Richie Rich Atlantica's nose in the dirt. I'm sure you knocked her down a couple pegs. And to celebrate, the whole research crew is headed to the Twin Falls Lake.
Love Patrol Alpha is headed there.
I never agreed to that. Oh, and before we go, give me your Rotom shifts. I want to add something so you can enjoy the lake a bit more.
He takes your device, turns away, and pulls out a book from his coat. You try to get a look over his shoulder as he tinkers and get a look at the book he has. It seems familiar. You hear the Rotom shift announce. Rotom shift analyzing data. Beep blorp bloop. New function added. Aquatic traversal vessel. Pines hands it back to you and presses a button. It expands into a lightweight kayak that nearly knocks you over. He laughs, but as he scoops up the book he was using, you get a quick glimpse at it. It definitely looks familiar. You catch Maple's gaze. It seems that she noticed as well.
Hey, Grunkle Will, what was that book?
Nothing, sweetie. Just some boring nerd tech stuff. All right, who's ready to hit up the lake?
Oh, heck yeah.
Totally.
Oh, sorry, Moose. Someone's got to stay here and keep an eye on the shack, especially with those Cypher Squad nutjobs running around.
Can do, Professor.
And don't do anything weird while we're gone.
Like wear your hat and strut around pretending I'm the professor?
What?
I got this. You dudes have fun.
All right. He's just a really weird guy, isn't he?
The rest of you make your way to the Twin Falls Lake. There are a handful of people enjoying the beach and fishing out in the water. A familiar face walks up to you.
Well, it's good to see you again. And with the whole Pines family.
Who's the suit?
Oh, sorry. I'm Looker, an officer with Interpol.
A cop? Kid, what are you doing being all buddy-buddy with a cop?
Apologies. I'm just in town investigating some of the strange happenings in Twin Falls. I just happened to run into—
There's nothing strange going on in Twin Falls. You're wasting your time. Now, if you'll excuse me, me and my family are trying to avoid getting trying to enjoy our summer like normal law-abiding citizens.
Looker smiles and shrugs and continues exploring the lake looking for clues.
You don't want to be hanging out with guys like that. Official types and us don't mix well.
What do you mean?
He's saying that he doesn't want anyone finding out about his taxes.
Yeah. So they're not the types I usually consort with.
A particularly rustic-looking fellow ham-bones his way over to your group.
Well, buckle my brisket. It's that there Pines professor.
Oh no, this guy again. I've told you 100 times, McHadron. You don't actually know me.
But your face is so familiar. I see it in my dreams when I'm asleepin'.
Yikes, go crush on someone else.
Who's this colorful character?
The name's William Piddleforth McHadron, and you'd never guess, but I live in a junkyard.
No one is surprised by that.
You want to hear something that is surprising, then? A few days ago, I saw a metal meteor fly through the sky and land on that big rocky island out there.
Metal meteor? I wonder if that could be another device component.
But whatever you do, stay away from the rocky islands out yonder. all you'll find is doom and ruin.
Ugh, go be rustically ominous somewhere else. Kids, you get your butts out to that island and poke around.
You got it, Professor Pines.
You run down to the dock where you see Mayor Terry kicking his feet in the water with some little Pokemon. One of them is new to you. This is going to be the start of a 3-stage line based on the Lusca. This is a Caribbean cryptid, monster legend thing that is basically a giant octopus with shark features, or it's a shark with octopus features. Either way, it's weird and cool. I wanted to challenge myself and do a very simple, baby Pokemon design with this one. When designing Fakemon, it can be difficult to not just add all of the extraneous details, so this will be a lesson for me, just good practice. We're looking at a super simplified cephalopod here, with its 4 little tentacles held in a round shape at the front. The fins, those will make sense when we get to the Dex entry. And since this line will get more shark-like as we go, I wanted to use Garchomp's colors for the shiny, which is kind of fun. All right, let's say hello to Lisquid, the false fin Pokemon. The appearance of circling dorsal fins in Hoaxian lakes isn't always cause for alarm. Lisquid pretend to be larger water types to scare away surface predators. Their unique bodies let them swim forward or backwards with ease. Lisquid are closely related to Inkay and will spray clouds of ink to escape if they feel threatened. Its ability is Run Away, it's a squid and the ink and everything, with the hidden ability being Suction Cups. It's splashing about and flicking water playfully at a Canitrop. Mayor Terry cheers the 2 Pokemon on.
That's right, little one. Get him! Get him!
You hop into your Rotom Shift kayaks and start paddling around the lake. You spot some familiar Pokemon like Purlipod and Dweebip. You then run into another new aquatic species. Alright, so even though this can be found in the water, it isn't a water type. We're going to do an ice type based off of the Ningen. This is a fairly recent cryptid coming from strange images captured by Japanese Antarctic research vessels. Picture a kind of humanoid beluga whale hybrid thing, but also sometimes they have legs and can walk around. They're very silly and they have this blank expression, which I like. And I thought about going the whale route, but we'll have another line in the Hoax region that fills that niche. So instead, we're going to make this a very strange jellyfish. This will also work out when this Ningen creature evolves into another aquatic cryptid. But anyway, as far as the design goes, it's pretty darn simple. I was just happy that I was able to catch that vacant expression. All right, let's go ahead and meet Blibical, the cold face Pokemon. This friendly ice type doesn't realize how super chilled its appendages are and often accidentally frees those it wishes to hug. Though related to Tentacool and Frillish, Blibical is quite capable of walking on land with its crystallized tendrils. They love to take naps together in large frozen clumps, which are often mistaken for icebergs in the Hoaxian lakes. Its ability is Slush Rush, which boosts speed in snow, with the hidden ability being Snow Cloak. It floats on over to you and smiles up. There's probably not much going on in its head, but it seems friendly. In fact, it pulls something out of the water and hands it to you. It's another slick scale item. How sweet. And if you happen to have a Doplob that is level 24 or higher, it seems very interested in the slick scale item. Yep, we've got some strange evolution shenanigans going on here. In fact, any of the Idle evolutions that are level 24, which is where your Pokemon are at now, seem very interested in using another one of their evolutionary items. But for now, we are going to look at what happens if you give Doplob a slick scale, or if you give Menino a familiar figurine. Alright, so this is a combination of the fighting human elements from one item and the fishy appearance of the other. And what do you get when you combine fish and human? Well, a mermaid! This is a love letter to Mermando, one of the best Gravity Falls characters. But of course, we can't do just a boring normal mermaid. Instead, this is going to be based on the Fiji mermaid, one of the most famous sideshow hoaxes that is basically a monkey and a fish sewn together. It's not a particularly pretty combination, but I love subverting the beautiful mermaid trope anyway. Okay, let's meet the first of Idle's many final evolutions. This is Maramigi, the mermaid Pokemon. Exposure to the slick scale and familiar figurine items let Idle evolve into this ferocious fish. Far from the beauty of Pokemon like Melodic or Primarina, Maramigi is quite aggressive and attacks anyone who makes fun of its appearance. For some unknown reason, it gets along well with simian Pokemon like Ambipom and Chimchar. The ability is Liquid Voice. We're going to pull in some of that Siren stuff, so that makes all sound-based moves become water type. Very cool. And the hidden ability, since it is kind of ugly, is Unnerve. Yes, Ugly Merman. Good job. If you have a Doplob or Minino, would you evolve them into this feisty mermaid? Or are you going to hold off for other evolutions? With any Idle, level 24 or higher, being able to utilize 2 evolution items, that will give us a total of 6 possibilities. We'll run into more evolutions on our journey, so just keep your eyes peeled for those. Alright, now after wandering this way and that, you eventually make it all the way out to a particularly large and rocky island. McFadden's warnings echo in your head.
Stay away from the rocky islands out yonder. All you'll find is doom and ruin.
Well, I'm not seeing much so far. After what McFadden said, I was expecting more danger and dread.
Yeah, so far this island is pretty boring. Oh wait, what's that?
Cordelia bounds ahead and points to a small crater in the ground. It's empty now, but it must have been where the device component landed. Cordelia, always the capable tracker, points to the area around the crater.
But look, someone was here very recently. Someone with nice shoes. And they must have picked up the device. They went that way. Come on.
You follow the winding footprints across the sizable island. To your delight, you spot some new Pokemon on the way, the first of which is floating in the water nearby. Okay, first up, we've got something based on the Sobuharten, I know I'm mispronouncing that, from Irish folklore. This is basically like a giant half-dog, half-otter creature. Now, I know we already have 2 otter-ish Pokemon with Oshawott and Weasel, but what can I say? I really like otters. And we're gonna skew this a little bit more doggish anyway. And what type of dog is long like an otter? Well, Dotson. And yeah, again, I know we've got Fido, which is kind of that, but hey, I don't know. I thought that line was pretty underwhelming. Plus here, it's just chilling in the sun, which makes our wiener dog a hot dog. It's a hot dog Pokemon. And as for the pose, I couldn't resist having it use its butt as a pillow, which gets the whole thing into this inner tube silhouette. Slap some water sunglasses on this pup, and we've got a real chill customer. All right, let's say hello to Tubulat, the float Pokemon. This incredibly relaxed water type loves to lazily float about. Tubulat's body is very buoyant, and they use their own rears as a pillow. These resourceful Pokemon always carry a rock, which they use to smash open tough nuts, seeds, and berries to snack on. Though often calm, they will speed into action to assist those struggling in the water. Its ability is Water Veil, so that prevents it from getting burned. It is a hot dog after all, it can't get burned. Yeah, whatever. And the hidden ability is Oblivious, because he's just so chill. They're pretty relaxed out in the water and wouldn't be too difficult to catch if you need another water type for your team. Continuing on, you see a group of Cubesque, and among them is its evolution. So we're continuing from just a cube of stone into something where parts of it are being carved away. Again, this is a gargoyle, so we're going to get some nice mean features poking through. And I will say it again and again, but whenever you have the opportunity to do an asymmetrical design, go for it. It's very freeing. I mean, it's also difficult, because you got to visually balance things still, but I don't know, I think we got here with this. It's got one arm and it's got part of the face. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. And to work with the basics of sculpture and the fundamental of artsy things, I wanted to work in some basic shapes like this pyramid, the boxy body, and the cylinder hand thing. I don't know. I'm pretty darn happy with how this turned out. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Gargurge, the craft Pokemon. With bits of stone constantly falling away, the creature that Gargurge wishes to be becomes more and more clear. While much of its body is still unrefined stone, it still stomps about as if it were the toughest Pokemon in the world. Gargurge's aggressive facade crumbles away whenever anyone compliments its form, and it somehow manages to have its stone face blush. You could catch one of these partially carved beasties, or if you have a Cubask and it's about level 27, that means it's ready to evolve anyway. Nice. As you continue on, you run into a Hershop. You remember these super rare Bigfoot monsters partially inspired by the creator of Gravity Falls? Well, here's another one, and you better catch it, because if you have 2 in your party and 1 levels up, they will combine into a new Pokemon. Now, this evolution method is something that I wish we already had, and we're gonna say that if you bring Pokemon like Magnemite, Diglett, or Binacle to the Hoenn region, they evolve when you have multiple of them in your party. We'll call this something like commune evolution or something, like communal organisms. Anyway, we have our first evolution like that here. This is playing off of a few things. Firstly, Hershop had the whole solitary Bigfoot thing going on, so it's always looking for its match. And when you have 2 solitary legs, you get a big pair of legs. Secondly, these are 100% the iconic Gravity Falls trees. That's fun. And thirdly, this is taking Alex Hirsch from the young unknown in the animation industry to this overseeing presence that is happy to assist others with their projects. It's silly, but it's fun. All right, let's go ahead and meet Hershquatch, the leggy Pokemon. If 2 of the exceedingly rare Hershop meet and train together, they can sometimes merge into this towering new Pokemon. They were rumored to exist in the wild for decades, but there was no definitive evidence. It was later discovered that Hershquatch hide in plain sight amongst tall trees, where others walk right past it. Happy and playful, they watch over the forest and aid those in need. Its ability remains Tough Toe, so that powers up kick moves, and the hidden ability is Technician. It's quite tough to track down those Hershop, but you'll have to let me know if you would be determined enough to land yourself a towering Hershquatch. Continuing on, there is a weird barking sound coming from ahead. You spot a round Pokemon leaping into the water. Another extremely rare find, this is our other pseudo-legendary line. This round little blubber ball is based off of the Oclute. This is a shape-shifting creature from Inuit folklore that is able to change between an orca and a wolf. So to start off, we got something that's basically like an orca puppy. This was definitely inspired by husky and Malamute puppies and how ridiculously cute and round they can be. I'm very excited for this line. I lived in Alaska for a while and really respect the native Alaskan culture and folklore, so being able to spotlight some of it with this pseudo-legendary line is gonna be fun. But let's check out this happy little pup. This is Borka, the sea pup Pokemon. This round ice type loves playing in the water. Their squishy bodies let them leap from great heights before belly flopping into the sea. While incredibly playful, Borca are a rare find in the Hoax region, as their evolved forms are quite protective and rarely let them wander far. While adorable and playful, they are incredibly loyal to their trainers. The ability is Thick Fat, again he's a little blubber ball, and that reduces damage from fire and ice type moves, and the hidden ability is Ice Body. They are very rare, but you find a Borca playing on its own. Perhaps it got separated from the rest of its pack. Would you add this little goober to your team? You keep going until Cordelia stops at the face of a cliff. There's a little control panel on the rock face.
The footprints stop here at this panel for a while, and then keep going off that way.
Well, let's keep following the prints. They've got to be close.
But I wonder if they might just be coming back here. Look at how long they were working on this panel.
Fine, you stay here, but Maple's off to catch our thief.
Maple bounds off after the prints, and you think about following, but you remember a diagram in the journal that looks similar to this panel on the rock face. You open up the book and start to examine the page.
What's that? Did you get that from the professor?
The diagram in question gives you a sequence of buttons to press, and when you do, a section of the rock face slides away, revealing stairs going down into a bunker.
Whoa, that's wild! How did you do that? I'm gonna send Maple a text to come on back, but we gotta check this out.
Without wasting any time, Cordelia barrels down the dark staircase. You make sure to leave the entrance open so Maple can get in and head down too.
Yo, this place is awesome! Look at all the cobwebs and dust. I don't think anyone has been down here in years and years. But whoever was down here was doing some serious research. Look at all this stuff. Oh, come on, this way. The tunnel keeps going.
You eye some of the papers and notes strewn about, and have to admit they feel quite similar to what is written in the journal you found. Perhaps this bunker belongs to its author? Cordelia is gone, and you run after her. The passageways twist and turn and split and wind every which direction. You also run into a few Pokemon down here, all of which are Ultra Beasts that have adapted to the Hoax region. So you see Tragikarp, Foline, and even the super rare Prismoid. Yep, if you are super duper lucky or very, very determined, this island and its bunker could get you both of these pseudo-legendary lines. But even beyond these Pokemon, you have the distinct feeling that you are being watched.
Man, I really thought that Maple would have caught up with us by now. Let me try and... Of course, I can't get any kind of a signal down here. I might have made a mistake running headfirst into an abandoned tunnel. Maybe we should get back and...
Cordelia is cut off by some muffled commotion echoing down the tunnels. For a second, you think you hear Maple calling for help. You and Cordelia are frozen in place until you hear the sharp sound of someone walking through the dark towards you.
Yep, I definitely made a mistake. Professor Pines is gonna kill me if I get you twins killed.
Hello? Who's there?
Looker? Oh my goodness, you nearly gave me a heart attack.
Oh, my apologies. What are you doing down here?
Smarty Pants here managed to get the door to this bunker open. We thought it would be interesting to explore.
Well, this is a very dangerous place to be. We need to get you two out of here now.
Looker begins to walk with purpose, and you follow behind.
Looker, you said this bunker was dangerous? What's so dangerous down here?
Many years ago, there were a couple researchers working down here, studying ultra wormholes. Now, they were absolute geniuses, but they accidentally managed to pull in a very dangerous ultra beast.
Dangerous how?
It's a shapeshifter, able to take the form of anything or anyone it comes across. So dangerous, in fact, that they ended up abandoning the lab completely in order to trap the ultra beast.
Oh no! We left the bunker door open. It could have gotten out already.
You left the door open? Well, that's no good at all.
Maple was also with us up on the surface. You didn't see her down here, did you?
Oh, I'm sure the girl is fine. Don't worry about her at all.
You continue to follow Looker through the winding tunnels. He moves with purpose, even faster now, and seems to know the tunnel layout intimately.
So, young one, how did you manage to get the bunker open?
Oh, they used this old book. Looked like it was full of weird notes.
A book with a Pokeball on it, was it?
Yeah. Why?
May I see it?
Why? What is it?
You see, that book belongs to the owner of this bunker, and I would just really love to have it, so why don't you hand it over?
You give Cordelia a wary look, and she understands, stepping between you and Looker.
No, actually, I don't think we'll be handing that over. Sorry.
If you know what's good for you, you'll give it to me.
Yeah, but my little homie here isn't actually done reading it yet. So sorry, but nah, brah.
Looker places his hand on Cordelia's shoulder and then forcefully throws her out of the way and into a wall. She is knocked out and slumps to the ground. He advances on you, and you turn and run. You can hear him stomping behind you, and unfortunately, the first tunnel you take leads to a dead end. You're in a small lab. Looker's voice echoes from all around.
Your mistake was telling me about that book. I was going to walk up to the entrance, leave, and let you go on your way. But that book has some sentimental value for me, and I want to make sure I leave with it.
You examine the lab for anything that may help you. You see notes on a shape-shifting beast and broken equipment, and stuck to a wall, 2 very human-shaped cocoons. Looker emerges from the dark and immediately throws out a Pokemon. Yeah, Looker isn't wasting any time, but luckily he has something pretty small as his lead. This 2-stage line is based on the Bukavak. It's a monster from Slavic mythology with lots of nasty horns and 6 legs. We'll get to those 6 legs with the evolution, but they are part of the reason why we'll be getting a nice little dragon and bug type out of this. We're going for an adorable ant silhouette here, so by bringing in a plump gecko tail and, the pokey bits kind of are like a little bit of a thorny toad, we get a nice blend of reptile and bug. Let's go ahead and say hello to Bukuvant, the skitter Pokemon. Though incredibly small for a dragon type, this confident creature struts around without fear. This is mainly due to its spiky horns, which quickly teach others to step carefully. Being so small, it has mastered bug-type attacks and specializes in hitting opponents quickly and scampering off to safety. The ability is Battle Armor, and that means it's protected against critical hits, and the hidden ability is Swarm. Other than being small and not having a ton of HP, the rest of its stats are pretty decent. But that doesn't stop you from knocking it out. Looker is ready with his next Pokemon, a Pupa-Dupa, big and bulky, and you have to, spend some time chipping away at it. It is strange, though, you didn't take Looker for being a bug-type specialist at all. When Pupa-Dupa falls, Looker sends out an even bigger bug, and this one happens to be the other potential evolution for Hoaxian Dunsparce. Ah yeah, time for our cool evolution. As much as I love how Hoaxian Dunsparce turned out, I know about half of you were hoping for a cool looking evolution too. So we are running with the original inspiration. Again, I apologize for the pronunciation. This is based on the Arakan Akal from Argentina, the oddly scaled king of snakes. Those weird side scales let us roll with the centipede-like look even more. We also get this really awesome tail claw, and since it's supposed to have some kind of radical head ornamentation as the king of snakes, we get to work in these long antennae. And lastly, though it's not part of the original inspiration and is definitely a different kind of snake, I was able to turn in the first few spikes to create the rough silhouette of a cobra hood. Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and meet our other Dunsparce evolution. This is Venospar, the land snake Pokemon. Dunsparce and the Hoax region, who master their toxic bite, are able to evolve into this gargantuan insect-like snake. They rarely open their eyes and instead use long feelers to make sense of their surroundings in the dark. Most active at night, Venospar are expert hunters who strike fast and let their prey succumb to powerful toxins. The ability is Poison Touch, so that means it may poison a target when they make contact, and the hidden ability is Still Run Away. It's pretty fast and hits very hard. Venospar really chews up your team by the time it finally faints. Looker is getting pretty annoyed with all of this.
Just give me the book! You don't understand. I had to watch those two buffoons riding in that thing for so long while I was locked away.
Looker throws out his last Pokemon. Alright, who's ready for the final stage of our Route 1 bug type? Yep, little Tintus evolved into a ball of lenses with Isidron, and we're going to take the way it plays with light in a fun new direction. So, the cryptid that this is based off of is the Mantis Man. We're changing up the appearance a bit, but here's the general idea of the cryptid. Essentially an alien, but with a more mantis-looking head and long bent arms. But the thing that is fun about it is the fact that it is able to become invisible. So, we're going to take the light-bending lenses of the previous stages and cover this Pokemon with them, allowing it to bend light around itself and become invisible. Now, you're probably picking up on the other bit of inspiration by now. Not wanting this design to be a skinny alien since we'll have another line for that classic alien look, I pulled in the Predator from the Predator films. Not only is it an alien that can turn invisible, but it gives us an unexpected secondary type. Alright, let's meet Mantaris, the Refraction Pokemon. Though difficult to identify at first glance, this powerful bug type's body is completely covered with armored lenses. Mantaris is able to refract incoming light around its body to become invisible. It stalks its prey unseen and attacks when they least expect it. When holding their long fingers together, they form a long claw that can strike through solid steel. The ability is Disguise, so that's actually Mimikyu's signature ability. So it basically gets kind of a free hit. You can get rid of its disguise and then you can beat it up. And the hidden abilities, the optional abilities are Tinted Lens and Compound Eye. That ability certainly is annoying and it is very strong, but you are eventually able to knock it out. To your surprise, Looker is showing no sign of backing down.
You can't stop me. You can't keep me locked away any longer.
To your horror, Looker's body twists and distorts as he reveals himself to be the shape-shifting Ultra Beast. Yeah, all the Gravity Falls fans knew this was coming, but we gotta get a shapeshifter in here. I have two main goals with this design. First off, we're using what undoubtedly was the inspiration for the original shapeshifter, the alien monster from The Thing and, other Cronenbergian abominations. These can be pretty darn gruesome, so we're trying to find that sweet spot where it could feasibly be a Pokemon while still reading as distorted and disturbing. I think the ring of teeth around the hip and the fact that it has multiple heads kind of erupting out of one another does a pretty good job at that. And the second thing that I wanted to do, well, I'll just say that I chose the eye shapes very carefully as I wanted to sprinkle in a little Hoaxian lore. You be sure to let me know if you understand what's going on here. Okay, let's go ahead and confront Gortesk, the shape-shifting Pokemon. Ultra Beast Copycat has an unstable biological structure that allows it to shift into the appearance of its opponent at will. This Ultra Beast was brought into the Hoax region many years ago, but trapped to protect the region. Gortesk was studied and experimented on, leading to the creation of imperfect clones found elsewhere in the Hoax region. The ability is something new, something kind of fun, called Mirror. So with that, it changes to match the appearance and typing of the opponent whenever they make contact. And of course, the hidden ability is Beast Boost. It keeps shifting into your different Pokemon, which is quite tough to strategize against all of a sudden. You battle hard, and the Ultra Beast staggers backwards, completely exhausted. You watch as it shifts between forms.
You have no idea what's going on here. You think you do, but you're clueless.
Your little family won't be able to stop what's coming. I serve an Ultra Beast you can't even fathom.
And nothing in your little book will stop it, so you better get ready for the end, kid.
Get ready.
The Ultra Beast transforms back into its original form and scurries back down the dark tunnels. Once it is gone, you are finally able to hear muffled voices coming from the two cocoons. You tear them open to reveal Maple and the real Looker.
You did it! You saved us from that thing! I found Looker outside and we came down here, but we got jumped by that thing in the dark. And then it wrapped us up, but you kicked its butt.
Yes, you did. Very impressive. Oh, and I found this outside. Consider it a thank you for saving us.
The real Looker pulls a device component from his coat and hands it to you. This one has a strange hand-like bug symbol on it. As you appreciate it, Cordelia stumbles into the room.
Watch out! Looker's a maniac! You best watch out. I will cut you, sucker.
Cordy, it's okay. There was just a little bit of shapeshiftery shenanigans going on.
But I assure you, I am me. Just Looker. But I think we should all get back to the shore.
Agreed. I'm just kind of low-key worried that we probably won't be able to trust one another fully after this.
Probably not. I've definitely been traumatized.
You all head out of the bunker and cross the lake back to the shore. But real quick, let's check in on the decks and see how we're doing. Ah yeah, it is certainly filling out. Still a lot of gaps, and we will start getting a lot more evolutions moving forward. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. All right, let's keep this moving along. Another giant thank you to the Patreon supporters, especially Angel, Cyberlord, Mason, Alphabloom, and Leo Vega. All right, see you in the next one, nerds.